The war ended without music, without cheers, and without any clean sense of victory. It ended the way storms do, by moving on and leaving broken ground behind. The human soldier stood on the edge of the landing platform, watching gray clouds drift across the sky of a world that was not his own. The planet had once belonged to a powerful alien empire. Now it belonged to no one, at least not in the way it used to. Human flags hung beside torn banners of defeated species, all of them fluttering in the same tired wind. His armor was scratched and dull. It had been cleaned, repaired, and stamped with official markings, but it still carried the weight of months spent in fire and darkness. He had survived orbital strikes, close combat in shattered cities, and nights where the stars themselves seemed to burn. Survival was supposed to feel like a gift. Instead, it felt heavy. Orders had come early that morning, formal orders, sealed and final. He was to report to a military administrative chamber inside the Capitol complex. No explanation, no warning. He walked there alone. The building was quiet, too quiet for a place meant to celebrate peace. The halls were wide and smooth, made for creatures taller than humans. Light panels glowed softly along the walls. Every step echoed longer than it should have. Inside the chamber, several officials waited. Some were human, some were not. Their faces were calm, practiced, and distant. This was not a place where emotions were welcome. A clerk read from a screen listing his service record. Battles fought, units supported, casualties survived, commendations earned. The words felt strange to hear spoken aloud as if they belonged to someone else. Then the clerk paused. As part of post-war redistribution, the clerk said, voice even and clear, you are being assigned a living asset, recovered under lawful claim from the former ruling authority. Her skin caught the light in soft shades that shifted as she moved, not bright, not dull, but alive in a quiet way. Her eyes were large and dark, reflecting more than they revealed. Simple restraints circled her wrists, more symbolic than practical. The room seemed to hold its breath. This individual, the clerk continued, was registered as a bonded servant under imperial law. With the collapse of that regime, ownership has been transferred according to treaty provisions. This is considered compensation. I will obey your commands to the limits defined by law. Yet here she stood, offered to him like equipment. No, he said without thinking, this is wrong. Up close he could see faint markings along her neck and arms, symbols etched so subtly they might be missed by anyone not looking closely. Ownership marks, records written on flesh. What is your name? He asked. For a moment something flickered in her eyes, surprise perhaps, or confusion. I am designated by registry code, she said. Then after a pause, I was once called Lurith. He nodded slowly as if grounding himself. I'm not going to own you, he said. I don't want this. Until then, the clerk replied, she remains under your authority. They were assigned temporary quarters near the human encampment. The room was small by alien standards, large by human ones, 2 chairs, 1 table, a narrow sleeping alcove. The alien stood near the doorway, hands folded, waiting. You can sit, the soldier said. She hesitated, then obeyed. He removed his armor slowly, piece by piece, setting it down as if each movement required careful thought. Without it, he looked smaller, more tired, just another human worn thin by war. I don't know how this works, he said at last, but I'm not going to treat you like that. Trust me, I'm reflecting plenty. If you abandon your claim, I will be reassigned. The question hung in the air. Desire is not relevant to my function, she said automatically, then her voice softened just slightly. But I would prefer not to be reassigned. The sky darkened, unfamiliar stars shining down on a planet still learning how to exist without chains. The soldier sat at the table, staring at a datapad filled with laws and treaties he barely understood. The alien sat nearby, silent but present, watching him with an expression that held neither hope nor despair, only patience. He had survived the war. Now he faced something far more complicated. Before resting, he looked up and spoke quietly, as if afraid the walls might listen. I don't know how yet, he said, but this ends differently. For the first time since the Empire fell, she replied. That is not an impossible statement. When he did, his dreams were not of the war anymore, but of paperwork, laws, and doors that would not open no matter how hard he pushed. He sat at the small table again, reading the same lines he had read the night before. Treaty clauses, inherited authority, transitional ownership. The words were clean and calm, nothing like the reality they described. Across the room, Lurith stood near the wall. She had not moved all night. She did not need sleep the way humans did, but he suspected there was more to it than biology. Standing still was safer. Standing still meant no mistakes. "You don't have to stand," he said without looking up. "I am permitted to remain still," she replied. "That's not what I meant." That word felt honest in a way the documents were not. She explained that the old empire had built its systems to survive its own death. When rulers fell, machines took over, registries reassigned labor, servants became assets. No emotion was involved, only balance sheets and stability projections. "Stability for whom?" he asked. "For those still holding power," she said simply. Later that day, an officer arrived. A human captain, clean uniform, clean hands. He smiled the way people smiled when they wanted something to sound reasonable. "I hear there was some confusion," the captain said. "No confusion," the soldier replied. "Just a problem. You understand that? If you make this political, it won't end well." Inside, an alien legal overseer spoke in a voice that sounded like metal sliding over glass. "Your discomfort has been logged. Sentiment noted. You endanger yourself." Lurith watched from the doorway. "They were owned too," she said. The soldier watched human peacekeepers form lines, shields raised. No one wanted violence. Everyone expected it anyway. "Is this what freedom looks like?" he asked. "It is what confusion looks like," she replied. Over the next days, attention grew. Reports mentioned a human soldier refusing ownership. Commentators debated it. Some praised him, others warned that moral pride could destabilize fragile peace. The soldier felt watched, not followed but measured. One evening he returned to the quarters to find Lurith examining his datapad. She froze when she realized he was there. "It's fine," he said. "What did you find?" "What about it?" "It was not freedom, but it was space to breathe." "It's a loophole," he said. "Yes," she agreed. "Empires leave many behind." Then she spoke. She spoke of worlds erased from records, of languages never translated, of decisions made by algorithms that valued output over life. She spoke calmly, but the weight of it filled the room. "This is evidence," he said quietly. "It is memory," she replied, "often treated as less." Patterns emerged. When he submitted the second request, it took longer to be answered. In the meantime, pressure increased. Another officer warned him privately to stop. A civilian liaison suggested he was being manipulated. Someone anonymous sent a message saying he was risking more than his career. Lurith saw the tension in his movements. "You should stop," she said one evening. He looked at her in surprise. "Why?" "For what it's worth," she said. "No one has tried this before." The word "under review" did not free Lurith, but it slowed the system that surrounded her. Orders stopped coming as quickly. Automated notices paused instead of executing. For the first time since the Empire fell, the machinery hesitated. The human soldier noticed the change in small ways. Guards outside the quarters no longer checked in every hour. Messages from administration arrived later than expected. The silence was not peace, but it was space. Lurith noticed it too. "The system is uncertain," she said one morning as light filtered into the room. "Uncertainty is rare." They began to work more openly. During the day, the soldier attended briefings and meetings, listening more than he spoke. He learned which officers avoided the topic and which ones watched him with careful interest. At night, he and Lurith reviewed records together. She guided him through old imperial archives, teaching him how to read gaps as much as data. "Empires record what they want remembered," she said, "and hide what they fear will be questioned." An engineer who had seen labor units shut down without warning. None of them spoke publicly, but their stories matched Lurith's memories too closely to ignore. One evening, an unexpected message arrived, a formal invitation. He was requested to appear before a joint ethics council. "That's big," he muttered. "It is rare," Lurith agreed. "And not always safe." He spoke like someone who had seen what systems did when no one challenged them. "She is not evidence," he said at one point. "She is a person who carries evidence. If we erase her status, we erase what she knows." The post-war order is fragile. A notice warned him that further unilateral action could result in reassignment, not punishment, removal. "They want you out of the way," Lurith said. "Good," he replied, "means they're paying attention." He looked up. "Go ahead." "Then it will have to change." Drones hovered overhead. Tension thickened the air. The soldier was ordered to remain inside. He ignored it. He stepped outside with Lurith beside him. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Some recognized her markings. Others recognized him from reports. A human protester shouted, "Is she free?" Then he said, "Not yet." Faster than any official statement. The next morning, the council reconvened. This time they brought documents, revisions, conditional frameworks. Lurith's status was provisionally changed. Not freed, protected. The words mattered. Ownership suspended pending investigation. The soldier felt his breath catch. It was not victory, but it was movement. "You are aware this sets precedent?" a counselor said. "Yes," he replied, "that's the point." They powered down without protest. "I am still not free," she said. "No," he agreed, "but no one owns you anymore." And once moved, it would never return to where it was before. The change in Lurith's status did not bring peace. It brought attention. Attention moved faster than ships and hit harder than weapons. News spread across human networks and alien channels at the same time, twisted in different ways depending on who was speaking. Some called it progress. Others called it dangerous weakness. A few called it an insult to the order that had ended the war. The human soldier felt it the moment he stepped outside. Conversations stopped when he passed. Eyes followed him, not hostile, not friendly, but sharp, measuring. Lurith noticed it too. "They are deciding what you are," she said quietly as they walked through the corridor. "Let them," he replied. "I know what I am." Some appeared in person, escorted by nervous officials who did not want responsibility. They all said the same thing in different words. "If she can speak, so can we." Lurith worked constantly, helping organize testimony, sorting memories, building patterns. She did not rest. When the soldier suggested she slow down, she shook her head. "I have waited a long time," she said. "I will not waste this moment." It was hidden inside my designation. It had been about removal. The soldier felt cold spread through him. They planned this. "If this comes out," he said, "everything breaks." Lurith spoke after him. She did not speak as a victim. She spoke as a witness. She named worlds. She named dates. She described how records were altered and how memory was used as storage, not history. She explained the system's logic without anger because anger was not required. Silence followed. Then shouting. Some counselors demanded the archive be sealed. Others demanded verification. A few demanded Lurith's immediate removal from the chamber. The soldier stood between her and the shouting. "She stays," he said. The session ended without resolution, but something had changed. The archive could not be unseen. That night the soldier received his reassignment orders, effective immediately. He was to be transferred off-world within 48 hours. No appeal listed. "They are separating us," he said. Lurith read the order carefully. "They believe removing you will reduce momentum. You are leaving a position, not a cause." This time, humanity's representatives pushed harder. They cited human law, human history, humanity's own mistakes with slavery and the cost of pretending systems could justify it. "We recognize this pattern," one diplomat said, "and we will not repeat it." The soldier watched the feeds from the quarters, fists clenched. Lurith stood beside him. This is the point where many stop. The system's quiet efficiency was exposed. Outrage followed. Sanctions were proposed, then withdrawn when too many parties refused to comply. Alliances cracked. Old powers scrambled to control the narrative, but the narrative no longer belonged to them. Lurith was summoned again, this time not as property, not even as witness, but as representative. "The irony is painful," she said softly as they walked toward the chamber. "I speak for those who were never allowed to speak." It was not perfect, it was not complete, but it was real. The vote was close. When it passed, the chamber did not cheer, it exhaled. The soldier felt something in his chest loosen for the first time since the war ended. Lurith closed her eyes. Later, alone in the quarters one last time, the soldier packed his few belongings. The reassignment still stood, but it felt smaller now. "You changed history," he said. She shook her head. "You interrupted it." "For a long time," she said. "The galaxy believed peace was built by silence." Some powers accepted the new framework quietly. Others resisted without hiding it. Trade slowed. Communications grew tense. Peace still existed, but it no longer felt comfortable. For the human soldier, life became strangely calm and deeply uncertain at the same time. His reassignment remained suspended, but no new orders came. He was no longer ignored, yet no one seemed to know what to do with him. He walked the camp freely now, but always under watch. Lurith's situation changed more clearly. Her status was updated again. The word provisional was removed. She was no longer listed under protection because she had crossed into something new. She was recognized as free. The record was short, simple, final. When the update appeared on the screen, the soldier read it twice to be sure. Then he looked up at her. "It's real," he said. She did not answer right away. She stared at the screen as if it might vanish. For a long time, she said nothing at all. Then she reached out and turned the datapad off. "I have existed under definitions my entire life," she said quietly. "I need time to understand the absence of one." Archivists revealed themselves. The council expanded its efforts slowly and unevenly. Some cases were resolved quickly, others met resistance. The galaxy did not change overnight, but it was changing. Humanity's role became clear in a way no war report could describe. They were no longer just victors or survivors. They were challengers, not of species, but of systems. Some alien leaders accused humans of arrogance. "You assume your morals are universal," one broadcast declared. A human diplomat answered calmly, "No, we assume suffering is." The request surprised everyone, including Lurith. "You could do more inside," she said. "I did what I needed to," he replied. "Others will carry it forward." All wanted her knowledge, all wanted her story. She accepted only one role, representative of the liberated archives. It was not a position of power, it was a responsibility. The first time she stood before a multi-species assembly in that role, she did not speak of the past, she spoke of the future. "Memory should not be owned," she said. "Neither should people. If we build systems that forget this, we will repeat what we claim to regret." "You were clear," he said. "I was honest," she replied. "It feels similar. We like it that way." Sometimes angry, sometimes quietly hopeful. The soldier stayed nearby not as a guard or owner or protector, but as a presence, a reminder of how this had started. One evening, on a quiet station far from conflict, they stood by a wide viewport. Stars stretched endlessly beyond the glass. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked, challenging everything. The nights that still visited him. "No," he said. "I regret the things I didn't question sooner." Violations would be treated as crimes, not traditions. It was not perfect, but it was law. Lurith closed her eyes when she heard it, not in relief but in recognition. "They will test this," she said. "Yes," the soldier replied. "They always do. I think the galaxy will survive that." The soldier remained by the viewport, watching ships move between stars. For the first time since the war, the movement did not look like preparation for violence. It looked like possibility. Humanity would not be remembered for winning the war. Wars were common. Victories faded. Humanity would be remembered for what they refused to accept after it. And that, more than any weapon, changed the galaxy forever. In the aftermath of the Galactic War, a human soldier receives a stunning alien slave. HFY Stories.